Welcome to episode 29 of the Press Forward podcast. I'm Nathan Wrigley, and I want to welcome you back. And if this is your first time listening, it's great that you found us. We've got something a little different for you today. 2 guests, Maja Benke and Amir Helzer. So stay tuned for that. But before that, let me tell you a little bit about what we do and why we do it. The Press Forward podcast is created by WPML. It's a non-profit working in the WordPress space to help you and anyone who you know. Our website is at wpml.org, and there you'll find out a whole lot more. But to summarise, we're here to support you when you need it. That support could be concerning your mental health or physical health, perhaps your business or skills. It's easy to access via the phone, email or chat, and the URL is easy to remember too. It's wpml.org/contact. The WPML community is growing, and listening to this podcast makes you a part of that community. We'd still love more people to get involved though, and there's no real template for what that involves, but some ideas for helping the podcast out might be: you could talk about this podcast on social media or on your own website. You could rate it on Apple Podcasts, or you can subscribe to us on your favourite podcast player, which can be done by simply going to wpml.org/podcast-feed. Another way that you could get involved is by joining us on our upcoming summit. It's called Do Summit Good, and the details are at wpml.org/summit. It's an online summit bringing the WordPress for Good community together. It's completely online and completely free, bringing various for good entities and funds from within the WordPress community together to talk about relevant topics and share knowledge. The event will feature 9 sessions with 13 excellent speakers, and it all starts on the 3rd of December 2019, which is also known as Giving Tuesday. We'll be fundraising throughout the day, and all donations collected will be shared evenly between the entities and funds featured across the event. So be sure to join us. Places are limited, so that URL again, wpml.org/summit. Thank you. The Press Forward podcast is brought to you today by Green Geeks. Green Geeks offers an awesome managed web hosting platform that's built for speed, security and scalability whilst being environmentally friendly. Enjoy a better web hosting experience for your WordPress website, backed by 24/7 expert support. And we thank Green Geeks for helping us to put on the Press Forward podcast. Okay, so on to today's episode. Today, I talk with 2 people, Maja Benke and Amir Helzer. They're both interviews which were recorded in the corridors of WordCamp Europe, so apologies for the background noise. The reason for 2 guests is because time was short when we recorded. First up is Maja Benke. She's been using WordPress for a long time and has really embraced the WordPress community. We talk about her involvement with that community and how she's made a place for herself in it. And so, without further ado, I bring you Maja Benke. I'm joined by Maja Benke.
Hello.
Have I got that right?
Yes, you did.
Yay!
Awesome.
So Maja and I have been having quite a nice long chat.
Yeah.
To the side of the podcast area where we're currently recording. And we're going to talk today a little bit, just for a short period of time, maybe 10 minutes or something, about the WordPress community. That's okay?
Yeah, excited about it.
Okay, so how long have you been using WordPress?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I started around 10 years ago.
That's a long time.
No, or
Yep.
maybe 8, something like this, like a long time actually. So I used it as a Blogger platform at the beginning, and after a while I more switched to the web design area because I really liked design and working with WordPress and helping other people to fix their problems with WordPress they had, and it was pretty amazing. And
did you fall in love with it quickly?
Not quickly. So the first year I had so many troubles to set it up and to get this right because I'm coming not from a technical part. So it was kind of a hard way to get into it. And after a while, like maybe 2 years, I started loving it a lot and was really kind of, you kind of get a better understanding of the software. And it was kind of this moment where it's like, okay, now I understand this. This is great right now. And from this part, I just really loved it. And I was so happy if you could help other people with their problems in WordPress. And I went to Facebook groups about WordPress and gave support over there. And so this was pretty amazing. And I did this for a couple while. And I heard that WordPress is open source, but I not really knew what it means, open source. And I was kind of Google it and tried to find definitions, what exactly open source is. And I found it sounded a bit weird. Like a lot of people can developing a software, and I thought it's kind of insecure because everyone can put code in it and
you could just write some nonsense in there.
Totally. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like I don't get it, but okay, it's working, it's nice, done. And in 2015, I attended my first WordCamp in Cologne, in Germany, and I was like, wow, I totally missed out this community so far, and I couldn't believe that I used WordPress for so long and have never been inside the community, and I finally understood what open source and community means, and I get so addicted, and I fell in love in the WordPress community immediately, and still a big lover of the community.
Are you the kind of person that walks into a room full of strangers and can talk? Can you just sort of go in and hello?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So it depends on my mood. Sometimes I can, but I remember like the first time in WordPress, WordCamp Cologne, was kind of weird because I was attending the warm-up party, which takes place before the conference. And there were mainly people who know each other because they are part of the community already. So I stepped in this room, and it was a pub in Germany, and everyone was sitting on tables and were talking to each other, and I only saw guys.
Oh.
And I went in there, I was like, oh my God, like this is a bit too much, because if they were standing, can just join a group and maybe leave, but like sitting somewhere on the table of strangers, it's like more committed. And I was like, oh, okay. And oh my God. So
You did well not turning around and leaving.
Like I was kind of short to think about like maybe I should just laugh. Like no one saw me so far, so maybe I should just leave. So I just kind of asked the first table, is this the WordPress thing? And I was like, yeah, sure, come join us. So we're sitting there, and they were kind of like my first friends I made in the WordPress community. They were a bunch of people from Hamburg who attended WordCamp Cologne. And they were super, super nice, super friendly. I never felt excluded at all from this very first moment.
Do you view people that you've made friendships with from WordPress? Are they
Definitely.
Actual friends?
Yeah, actually. Like for example, the first table I attended, one of them is a really good friend of mine. Even we are not living in the same city. He's one of my best friends, and he's also here today, where I'm super happy about that we finally can see each other again.
I didn't believe this was possible, actually.
Yeah.
The internet came along, and then kind of people started to meet in online communities, and I thought it was all a bit weird. I thought that can never develop into a real friendship. I was completely wrong. I attended my first WordCamp, and I saw in real life people who I'd seen online, and it suddenly occurred to me, well, that was a silly position to take. And now, I don't know what the phrase is. There's this little phrase which keeps coming out, something like "come for the code, stay for the community," or something like that. And I believe that. I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's really special, especially these WordCamps. I've been to events for all sorts of reasons, and I don't like going to any of them particularly, but I like coming to these.
Definitely. Like for me, I'm traveling a lot, for example, and I really, really love to attend the local meetups because it feels like you're just visiting friends that you don't know yet. And for example, we had a translation day, which takes place all over the world once a year, to translate WordPress. And I organized the one in Berlin, actually, but I booked a travel and totally forget about the meetup we planned. And I was like, oh shit, okay, we have a different organizer who will be there, it's fine. It's Bernhard, actually, who's the local lead today. And that was in Thessaloniki. I was like, okay, then I will just, be on my computer and do it on my own in a hostel and just attend the live stream and everything. I was like, maybe Thessaloniki also has a meetup, and maybe they're doing also something about the translation day. So I was writing them. I was like, hey, are you doing anything about translation day? because I didn't saw any meetup, and I was like, oh, what is that? Like we're not aware of it because they were really, really fresh meetup. They were just there for like, I don't know, 2-3 months or something. And it was like, no, we're not really doing anything, but totally give us a call. We can, we can meet, we can chat because you're a WordPress person. Awesome. 2 days later, they wrote me a message like, hey, by the way, we actually set it up at Translation Day, so we will do something. And then I was there and I never translated before. So I showed them how to get in the system, how's it going. I don't speak any Greek, but they started to translating some strings, and it was pretty awesome. And I met them last year in Belgrade also.
So real friends.
And, I would not say like real friends, but definitely cool people I like to see on a regular basis, even on meetups and WordCamps. And
When you come to these things, I'm just looking around, and basically most of the people that I can see, I don't know. I don't know most of them. I know a couple of them.
I know a few of them, but not all of them. Yeah.
Do you come with the intention of, I'd like to leave this WordCamp having met more than I knew when I started, or are you into, I'm going to come and see the ones I know I really like?
Kind of both. Of course, I'm always really excited about the people that I know already to see them again. But I think the good approach of a WordCamp and also a meetup is also to know new people, because it's kind of maybe it sounds like a lame phrase, but I really like it. It's like strangers are just friends you didn't have met so far.
That is a nice
phrase.
And
and it's totally true for WordCamps, definitely. And so especially this one, it's like I'm from Berlin original, so there's so many people here that I know because I'm also in the building community, and there's the international community, and I'm just so happy about every person I meet. And I'm just a little bit sad I don't really have time for everyone because just too many people.
Yeah, there is too many people.
Yeah.
2,000.
3,000.
3,000. Did they all show up?
I don't know, but we sold over 3,000 tickets. We sold out. Unbelievable. First WordCamp Europe, that was sold out, actually.
That's a lot of people. I'm guessing that a certain proportion for one reason or another won't be able to make it, but it's still an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of developed this. I think it's fair to say that WordPress has kind of become my life. Is that a sad thing?
No, it's not.
I'd be ashamed of that.
No, actually not. I also have friends who are not involved in a WordPress community, surprisingly, but a lot of friends are from the WordPress community, and because I'm traveling a lot and work in other places sometimes, it's always great to have kind of like a starting point to know people and to have something in common. Because if I tell my family about the WordPress community and what I do, they not really understand what I'm doing.
Do they even know what it is?
They know what it is because I showed them.
So do you think like if you walked into a supermarket in Berlin and said some random stranger and they asked, what do you do? I work with WordPress. Would they know?
It really depends. So if I'm in a co-working space or like in kind of this startup tech scene, they definitely know. So sometimes I'm still like, well, I don't know if you know WordPress, and usually it's like, yeah, of course. And then I say, well, yeah, I'm doing with WordPress stuff, but also I'm contributing, and then usually people not really know what contribution means. And they usually ask like, oh, so you're working at WordPress? I was like, no, you're not.
Work for. You're employed by WordPress.
Exactly, and then
you're doing things with WordPress. Yeah.
And then you kind of have to explain community, open source. But yeah, so it kind of depends where you are. Like, I think my family not really understands it.
Well, my kids, I've got 3 kids, and they all know that Daddy does something with WordPress.
Oh, cool.
But they don't know what WordPress is. I've showed them a couple of times, and they get really bored.
Yeah, actually, we had a kids workshop. Maybe this would be something for them.
Yeah, that would have been a nice idea. I think it was is it today?
No, I think it was yesterday during the Contributor Day.
Yeah, well, that would be the best time to do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, do you think that there is something? How to describe this without sounding weird? Is there something different about this collection? Let's say these 3,000, because they're all here. These 3,000 people, is there something that makes them different from a regular 3,000 people out on the street? Are the WordPress people
definitely
nicer, different, more interesting, more attuned to what you like?
Okay, this is a bit hard now to answer, but I would say it's definitely a difference between because we have a code of conduct, and we not only have a code of conduct written on paper and put it on drawer. We actually have a code of conduct that it's lived from the community, and I think this is really amazing. Like especially as a woman in tech, sometimes you get kind of weird comments, especially outside of the community. And if you want to say something, it was like, well, this was not really cool. Can you please not reduce me on something or sexualize me? Yeah. Outside of the WordPress community, people are sometimes reacting like, oh, come on, it was just a joke. Don't be so sensible. Inside the WordPress community. even if a person would react like this, you totally get the support of the community. So if another person hears this, that would actually step up usually for you. Or if this not happen, you can always, ask a volunteer or organizer, or you can tell them. And the code of conduct is really like lived, and you can totally tell that people are really, really nice to each other, really supportive. Super open, super friendly, and it's kind of a safe space. Like every WordCamp, every meetup feels like a totally safe space. And for example, I was last year, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Bristol on the WordCamp, and I saw from the attendees list, okay, this will be a WordCamp where I don't know really people. Like it's kind of unusual because going to many WordCamps, and usually there are a bunch of people that I know. I was kind of felt like, okay, even I'm a long-term member of the community, I will go to a WordCamp where I don't know that many people, and I was like, hopefully I feel fine. And immediately, like after 2 hours, I felt like totally home because I made so many new friends.
Hannah Smith. I think she co-organized the Bristol one.
Oh yeah, then definitely I saw her.
She's here. I've seen her in the last couple of days.
Yeah, actually the organizer team was just amazing. They did they had a really cool thing. They had kind of an award for, I think I called it community person or a really nice person. So they said, okay, if you heard or if you see that someone is extra supportive, nominate them and they get like an award for that. I was like, oh, that's such an amazing idea to do.
Yeah, that's a lovely idea.
Totally great. So that was really a super friendly, awesome.
Do you know, I've been talking about WordPress for years, and you're the first person ever to bring up the code of conduct.
Oh, really?
That's really interesting.
I think because it's such a standard, normal thing to have, like we not really think about it, but especially if you're going to, for example, I don't want to say any specific thing, but if you're going to other kind of events where they don't have it, and where they're maybe coming from different areas, like backgrounds in a job way, a professional way, where they have never heard something about code of conduct, it can be really hard sometimes because, just like personal behavior where you feel uncomfortable and where you not really know what to do. And I think especially if you're like a first attendee, sometimes it's hard maybe to tell how important the code of conduct is or how serious they take it, but you really get the support from people around you. Like they're really stepping up if something happens. And honestly, it's not happening that often. Like I'm on so many WordCamps, and I mean, sometimes it's there, but then they will take care of it. But usually it's always super friendly and supportive. And, for example, even like the first WordCamp I attended, where I come in a room full of men. I mean, there were not that many, but still was only men at the beginning. I mean, later there came more women. I felt really intimidated, but they were from the beginning so friendly and so nice that I never had to feel, where I kind of feel as a woman, oh, maybe I totally get them wrong. Like, it was just sometimes experience you had maybe before. But I was totally wrong that they were maybe could be intimidated. Like, not at all. They were so great. And
Sadly, we're going to have to cut this one short because I think we were just getting into something nice, rich and meaty, because Matt Mullenweg is about to speak, and I think most people would like to go and hear him. So thank you so much for talking to us. That was very nice indeed. Take care.
Thank you as well.
Next up, we've got Amir Helzer. He's the founder of OnTheGoSystems, the company behind the successful translation plugin, WPML, as well as Toolset, a plugin to help you get more from WordPress with less code writing. We talk about his company and how they manage a team of 90 plus employees, what techniques they use to keep their team up to date and productive. We also talk about how the company recently updated their pricing to a subscription service and how that's gone. And finally, we touch upon how the Gutenberg editor has become a focus for their plugins, how they're refactoring the plugin architecture to fit in with the new editing experience, and hopefully offer their users a future-proof solution. And so now, I bring you Amir Helzer. So it is the second day of WordCamp Europe. I don't actually know what day it is. I think it's Saturday. Saturday. Okay, so it's Saturday, second day. We're back in the hall outside of track number 1, and today I'm joined by Amir Helzer, who is the CEO of OnTheGoSystems. Is that right?
Founder
of OnTheGoSystems. But possibly that's not the name you know them by. They're more widely known, I guess, with the words Toolset and WPML. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which hat are you wearing in this conference? Are you a Toolset hat or a WPML hat?
Well, I started with my bicycle hat in the morning, and today I'm wearing my Toolset t-shirt.
Okay, so just before we started recording, Amir told me a nice story about how they actually got here. How far away is your hotel?
I think it's 7 or 8 kilometers.
Okay, and in Berlin, bikes are a big thing.
Yeah, I told myself, you're not in Berlin if you're not riding a bicycle.
Okay. Did you get one of those put your phone on the bike, Uber kind of style? They're just lying around everywhere, bikes, and you pick one up and rent it for however many miles you want to do.
No, so we're in Israel and we're supposed to know how to navigate. And we studied the route before we went out of the hotel.
Okay.
And we got lost.
Where did you end up?
In a little bit of something between a construction site and a bicycle recycling, and I don't know what they're doing there. I think they're putting up some new highway.
Okay.
And everything by the sides of it is a construction zone. Google doesn't know it yet. And the fact is that people follow the advice and kind of hop over the barriers, so Google kind of get a confirmation that it's passable.
Yeah, so you've spoiled Google Maps in
Yeah,
Berlin.
yeah, and I'm not the only one, I think, yes.
But you made it.
Have
Have you enjoyed it so far?
Very much, yes.
What's the point of you coming to these events? I mean, do you come with the I want to meet people agenda, or do you come with the I'm going to stay on my stall? Firstly, we should say you've got a sponsors area.
We have a small table.
Yeah.
First of all, we all work remotely. So it's a social opportunity inside the company. We're like 20 people here. Yesterday we went to a very nice restaurant. We hang out. We tried to go to a club, but there were impossible lines. We ended up having beer somewhere else. So first of all, we use it inside the company as a social event. And other people are doing the same. And because of this, it's a very, very relaxed atmosphere. So it's nice to talk with people. We've had conversations with folks from Envato, from Theme Fusion, from Elementor, from Freemius, from a number of friends that we know from previous work. And I think because nobody really came with a hard agenda, it's nicer to hang out and we actually get more done.
Yeah. So the 20 people that you've brought, how, as a proportion of the company, how much is that?
We're 98 altogether.
Okay. So there's still 4/5 back manning the fort.
Yes.
And how?
But people here are also still working. So Thursday and Friday, the supporters had shifts, and they did some work. Some from here, from the Wi-Fi, some from the hotel. So I think clients aren't even noticing this.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that your 80 people would be managing the fort admirably. Did you sort of cherry pick the 20 because of a sort of specific part of the business that they represent? Maybe they're like in marketing.
No, we told everyone, whoever wants is welcome. This year we paid for half of the expenses. And anyone who could and found it convenient personally joined.
Okay. And do you have, you said you've sort of like got a fairly loose agenda. Did you come thinking, okay, I would like to leave having met this person and this person and this person, and I want to leave having, I don't know, come to an agreement with this person and this person? Or do you just show up and hope?
No, we showed up because the serious work that we do, we don't wait for an event like that. We just get it done. We work the whole year round, all of us remotely. So there's no point for us to wait until we're here to close any real deals with someone that we work with on a regular basis. So I thought it would be better to leave ourselves open and then engage with people as we meet them. And that actually turned out pretty well. So people came to us. We were completely available. We weren't tied up with a busy schedule. And we opened a number of very nice opportunities for ourselves.
Okay. And how's the stall gone? Do you find that kind of thing is worthwhile? I don't know what the cost is, but I'm guessing it's...
Oh, it's useful because it's like a marker on the map. People know where to go in order to see us because other people apparently had an agenda. So they were looking to meet us. And the fact that they knew where we are helped us.
Okay. Yeah. Is it an expensive thing?
I don't remember. One of our guys from the company is responsible for organizing these our appearance in these events, and he actually had trouble reaching here, so we don't know what's going on.
Okay. Do you attend this kind of thing over the, do you go to the US one? Do you go to smaller ones dotted around the world?
I go to the European WordCamps. The only one I've missed was the one in Paris, and I go to the Israeli ones. we actually have a very, very nice local event in Israel, Press Forward in September, which I enjoy going to very much.
It's called Press Forward.
Yeah, Press Forward. No, yeah, like that, just spelled kind of differently.
This is the name of this podcast.
Oh,
We call this
okay.
one the Press Forward podcast.
Okay.
So we, at some point, our hashtags might very well collide.
Right, you should you should interview the guys from Press
Yeah,
Forward. I'd be
yeah.
interested in that.
How many of your guys are from Israel, and how many are spread throughout the world? And which countries do you employ people in?
It's in Israel. It's just myself and a supporter called Itamar.
Okay.
I think most of our people are from Europe,
Ah,
kind of mixed between Eastern and Western Europe. We have some people in the US and some people in South America and just a few in Asia.
yeah. And how do you actually organize getting work done? Are you sort of Slack based or?
No, I don't like Slack. But I'm not against Slack, but I don't use it myself. Maybe I'm too old. We work in teams, and teams always have daily morning meetups just to sync. That will be as short as possible, but for people to say hello to each other and to kind of give a quick overview of what they're going to do today and what kind of issues they're facing in case someone has any advice to give them. Usually takes about 15 minutes. And every team has a longer planning meeting weekly. And the whole company has a monthly update meeting with our CFO, with other non-development issues, so that everyone's in the loop, knows what's going on.
How? I mean, Toolset over the last year has gone through quite a lot of changes.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about the WPML. I guess that's probably had similar changes.
I
Have you,
can
have you
tell
had a busy year?
Very busy, yes.
Yeah? Give us some of the updates.
This year, we moved from selling lifetime accounts to selling yearly subscriptions. And this changed our business completely, turned it around. So, for one thing, the short-term revenue has dropped because instead of getting paid for everything upfront, we're getting paid in payments over time, which when your revenue drops, you have to become more efficient. Things that you were used to doing before because it worked, because it was fine, you're starting to check them again to see if it still makes sense. And this brought us to making a lot of changes. And we knew that we were going into this, but still, when you're inside this process, you feel differently rather than when you know that you're going to go to it. So we were very much looking into where we can improve and how we can improve everything. The products, our procedures, our HR, our hiring, our everything improved. For just what we talked about, the morning calls, we made sure that they're no longer than 15 minutes, just because it takes time. There's no point in wasting 45 minutes out of every day over repeating what everyone knows from yesterday. Just as a trivial example. And because we're asking clients to pay us every year again to keep their accounts active, to get new versions, we understand that our products need to be better, okay? Because it's like a conditional marriage, okay? Imagine how life would be in the world if every couple had to get married again every year, right? You know what I mean. You'll have to continue courting each other for the rest of your life. So it's difficult. It takes more effort, but I think that the end result is better for everyone. So we're in this situation now. And we understand that we have to win our clients' trust over and over again.
Oh, that is a big change, isn't it? Yeah, you've got to justify your existence every month. Yeah.
Yeah, and this actually, I think it makes it more interesting for all of us. Okay, the developers got into this mood as well, supporters, everyone in the company, and it feels like a very healthy new energy.
Do you feel like you're compelled to do updates and push out social media posts about those updates and things in order that your customers feel things are happening with Toolset or WPML because they're paying each month?
I think it's a personality thing. I'm leading our marketing, and that's not in my personality. If you look at my Facebook account, for instance, you think that maybe I've left the world or something. I don't do that, so I don't do this for work as well. I know that other people are doing it and they're doing great. I think if you're pretending, if it's not in your nature, it doesn't look authentic. So I'm not trying to to pretend. And we're doing what we feel comfortable with. So we post lengthy, detailed blog posts and videos, and we send out emails, and we keep the conversation on our site, and we also try to keep this fairly low bandwidth, because when I look at the emails that I get in my promotions tab, I find dozens of very, very interesting unsolicited emails that I receive from important companies that I don't care for. So I don't want to go into that category.
Yeah, good for you. I think that's a quite good strategy.
Yeah.
How's the last year vis-a-vis Gutenberg gone? There's quite a lot of changes to your products based upon that. Has that been a tough thing to pull off? Are you enjoying it?
I would, if I'd have to choose one word for Gutenberg, that would be challenging. It's not impossible, it's not frustrating, it's just challenging all over the place. And now I think that we have something good. I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's more than usable. It's I think it's important for the product to be fully usable, okay? To do everything that the client really needs in the way he needs it. And if we need to sacrifice some cosmetics in order for this to happen, that's okay. I would prefer now, we prefer, that's what we're implementing, to have a complete product which just works and does everything it should, rather than attempt very hard to have some eye candy, which makes it all very fragile.
Which of the two, WPML or Toolset, which of the two was easier to port over?
Well, WPML was way easier, but it was more important for Toolset, because still only a tiny percentage of the WordPress population uses Gutenberg. I heard yesterday that there are 150,000 posts with Gutenberg every day. I don't know how someone would actually measure something like this. I mean, I didn't know that Gutenberg editor does this kind of back reporting.
Yeah, phones home.
No, I don't think it does. So maybe this number is extrapolated, but when I talk with people outside of these community events, a lot of them still don't even know about this editor, which is weird because it's the default editor. So my understanding is that perhaps web developers, the first action when they install a new site is to disable Gutenberg. So for WPML, Gutenberg is important, but let's say if we only had support for Gutenberg today and not in December of last year, nothing would happen. We'd have very little support requests over it. So there's no, for WPML, we have full support with Gutenberg, but because we want to have it, not because our clients really demand hard for that. For Toolset, we look at Gutenberg the other way around, as a convenience for ourselves, rather than as something that we need to be compatible with. So for us, having a page builder, even a page builder like Gutenberg inside WordPress core, is a wonderful solution, because it means that now we can offer a complete product to our clients, which allows them to build dynamic sites and achieve nice visual design without writing PHP, JavaScript, or HTML now.
Yeah.
And without having third-party dependencies.
Yeah. Are you going to carry on maintaining the layout portion of things, or is that all going to go?
We already announced to clients that this has already gone into maintenance mode. It still receives functional updates. For instance, just a few days after this conference, finally, we'll be updating layouts to Bootstrap 4, which is long overdue. So it still receives these kind of updates, security update, bug fixes, but we're not planning for it to compete with any page builder.
Have you found that people have welcomed the Gutenberg, the way that you've implemented layouts inside of Gutenberg? Has there been, because that's quite a recent thing, and it looked really nice. The videos that Dario did them look really nice. I saw a couple of them more recently, and I thought you'd implemented that really well. I was just wondering if the community had agreed with that, and also is it quite a limited implementation still?
As long as we don't mention the name Gutenberg, they're happy with it.
Okay. That's interesting.
They're happy with the product. They don't want to know that it runs on Gutenberg.
Okay, so long as it just works.
Yeah.
Is it limited? Are there things that you could do with layouts that you've just had to say, no, it can't be done yet, and we're hoping that will come along?
No, the other way around. We have a much richer functionality today with Gutenberg than we had with layouts or with any other page builder.
Okay, that's interesting. I thought perhaps that would be the other way around.
Nope.
So you're bullish about it. You think Gutenberg will be the way that you do things from now on?
Well, I need to review everything that we develop before we release it. And now I find that when I need to review new versions, new development versions of Toolset with Gutenberg, it takes me a fraction of the time to finish my test design with what we have today rather than what we had before. Just a fraction of the time.
What's on the roadmap? What's coming in the next year for WPML and Toolset?
For Toolset, during this summer, in about 6 weeks, we'll be ready with this grand Gutenberg release. For WPML, also in 2 or 3 weeks, we have a completely new version of string translation, which will bring down to 0 the execution time of string translation. So this has been a serious pain point for us and for our clients, that larger sites with many plugins work slowly with our string translation. That's not a good thing. And this changes completely, I think before the end of July. And now this will have no impact on the site. String translation or no string translation, the site will run the same, exactly the same. So that's pretty significant that's the number one thing that our clients are waiting for us to do. The other thing is we're trimming everything else. We're cutting down functionality that we added over the years, and that, well, it was nice, let's say 5 years ago, but nobody's using it today, but it just makes the GUI larger and less clear.
What's being pulled out? What things have you selected as sort of detritus that needs to be removed?
You wouldn't even notice them.
Okay.
You'd look at the admin screen and say, yeah, they haven't removed anything. It's the same, but it's going to be half the size and without many things that require little question marks and tooltips to explain what they are.
And what are you doing when you're here? What's your plan for today?
Today or tonight?
Yeah, no, they're very different things. Now, what are you going to do today? Are you going to be manning your area?
We have nice upcoming calls with a SiteGround. They're going to show us our starter thing. I don't remember how it's called. That's very interesting for us. And we need to continue follow-up discussions with other people whom we've met yesterday. And besides that, I'm hoping to have a lot of free time around our booth, and I'm pretty sure that we'll meet new people who just want to talk with us.
Nice. So it's good. And then this evening, what's the plan for this evening?
I hope I don't fall asleep again like yesterday. And if this happens, then there's a very nice tango that I'm looking to go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What? Somewhere else? Not here. There's no tango here. It's 80s here, isn't it?
Here, what here? In the venue? No.
Yeah. You're going to go to a tango club.
Yeah.
Tell us. Go on, just for the sake of it. Tell us a bit about this, because I know that you're keen.
Yeah, it's very nice. Berlin has a young and happy population, and not everyone is from Berlin. There are a lot of foreigners. On Thursday, when Marina and I went to that tango place, and already on the way, we heard more Spanish than German, and we met a group of Argentines, guys and girls, and it was very nice to hang out. Whenever I have a chance to speak Spanish, I'm super happy, and it was fun. And yesterday there was also a very nice dance, and I just collapsed at the evening. I couldn't go. And today I'm planning to make up for it.
Yeah, I am. By the end of yesterday, I was genuinely flaked out. I had nothing left to give. So these events are wonderful, but they are exhausting.
What time did it hit you?
Oh, about 2 in the afternoon. But that's me always. And then I recovered. By 4 o'clock, I was back on my feet. And then at about 9 o'clock last night, I was kind of getting to the point where life needed to come to an end.
I managed to pull myself somehow until 12:30 at night, and then it was 12:30 and 30 seconds, I was out.
Thanks for talking to us today, Amir. I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Nathan. You too.
One of the purposes of the Press Forward podcast is to lift the lid on topics that don't get talked about often enough, to allow people to share their stories so that others might listen, and by listening they may gain an understanding that they're not alone. There are other people out there who have faced the same situation that you are facing. They have found a way through and can offer support to you on your journey. Maybe that person's already in your life, but they might not be, and that's what WPNUp is here for, to connect you with the support that you need. If you can help WPNUp with a donation, then please visit wpnup.org/donate. The Press Forward podcast is brought to you today by Green Geeks. Green Geeks offers a specially engineered platform that gives WordPress users web hosting that is designed to be the fastest, most secure, and scalable hosting available in multiple data centers. Their WordPress hosting makes deploying and managing WordPress websites easy with automatic one-click install, managed updates, real-time security protection, SSD RAID 10 storage arrays, Power Cacher, and expert help 24/7 to make for the best web hosting experience. And we thank Green Geeks for their support of the Press Forward podcast. Okay, that's it for this week. Please let us know if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're finding it useful or helpful. You can reach out to us at wpnup.org/contact, and you can donate at wpnup.org/give. Remember that there's a serious point to all of this though, and that is that WPNUp's here to provide help and support. That help is available for you or people that you know, and can be easily accessed at the wpnup.org website. Please spread the word about this podcast, tell your friends and subscribe on your favourite podcast player. Don't forget, you can join us on our Do Summit Good Summit this week. And also remember that together we can #press forward.